Have you ever felt like no one really sees you? That despite your efforts, your insight, and your integrity, the people around you at work, in your family, even in your community, just don't get it? They talk over you, dismiss your ideas, or misinterpret your intentions. They think they have control, that they know the story of your life, that they can predict your next move. But here's the truth. They'll never admit you've been observing them quietly, noting their patterns, understanding their motives, and accumulating a strength that they will never see coming. You've been standing there silent yet unshakable, and in that stillness you've been building power, your own, unassailable, undeniable. Picture this: a colleague takes credit for your work. A relative spreads subtle rumors, or someone in your social circle pretends to know your journey better than you do. On the surface, it feels like they hold the upper hand. They act confident, in control, even untouchable. But what they don't realize is that every word, every gesture, every attempt to undermine you has been noticed. You've seen it all. You've cataloged the inconsistencies, you've felt the energy behind the lies, and in your silence you've grown sharper, wiser, more resilient. The very environment they think gives them power is actually refining yours. Ask yourself this: do they truly know who you are? Or have they only seen the version of yourself that you allowed them to see? It's a question that cuts to the core of your perception versus their assumptions. In that gap between their view and your reality lies your advantage. Every time they misjudge you, every time they underestimate your capacity, you gain a deeper understanding of both their limitations and your own potential. It's the subtle, invisible victories that prepare you for the moment when truth no longer needs to be whispered, it will be undeniable. This video is your map for that journey. We're going to explore how to recognize deception when it hides in plain sight, how to remain steadfast in the face of manipulation, and how to transform quiet observation into a source of undeniable strength. We'll break down the ways liars, manipulators, and the small-minded attempt to control narratives, and how your awareness, patience, and inner fortitude render their efforts powerless. This isn't about revenge, nor is it about aggression. It's about understanding the rules of influence and human behavior, and then realizing that you already hold the upper hand simply by standing true to yourself. Think about your life right now. Maybe you've been navigating office politics where colleagues try to claim authority they haven't earned. Maybe in family dynamics you've been judged or misunderstood despite knowing your intentions were right. Perhaps in your community, subtle games of status, envy, and pretense have tested your patience and your sense of self. For Americans over 35, these pressures are familiar. They compound as responsibilities grow, as stakes rise, and as the window for personal freedom narrows. Yet the very challenges that might intimidate others have been sculpting your resilience, sharpening your discernment, and teaching you to operate with subtle power. By the end of this segment, you'll see that being misunderstood is not a weakness. It's a sign that you are moving differently from the crowd, that your values, your insights, and your integrity place you in a class apart. You're a chosen one. Someone whose influence isn't measured by applause, approval, or recognition, but by the quiet authority you hold over yourself, your choices, and your energy. This is the first step in awakening to the truth. You don't need to fight for visibility. You only need to remain vigilant, aware, and unwavering. The world will eventually acknowledge what you already know: that your strength is not borrowed, not dependent on external validation, and that your insight into reality surpasses what most people even realize. So lean in, pay attention. Every detail matters, every interaction reveals hidden patterns. The secrets you've been waiting to see unfold are already taking shape, and by understanding them, you step into a realm where your calm, deliberate awareness becomes your greatest power. This is the foundation, the opening movement of your journey to recognizing truth, standing tall before deception, and transforming silent observation into unstoppable force. They lied to you. They manipulated those around you to protect their illusions, and they assumed you would never see through it. But you did. You've been watching quietly, noting inconsistencies, feeling the subtle shifts in energy, and piecing together the story they desperately tried to hide. Every smile that didn't reach the eyes, every story that didn't align, every exaggerated gesture, it all spoke to you. They built a facade so elaborate it could fool anyone who wasn't paying attention, but you were. You've been the observer, the witness, the silent judge of the theater they staged around you. Consider how they craft their image. It's meticulous, rehearsed, and often cloaked in charm or authority. They borrow traits from others, mimic confidence, or exaggerate achievements, all to project a persona stronger, smarter, or more capable than the truth would allow. To the casual eye, it seems flawless. But every detail, no matter how small, is a thread in the fabric of deception. And your eyes are trained to detect the fraying edges. You've recognized the way words are twisted, promises bent, and stories reshaped to serve their narrative. In their mind, this camouflage makes them untouchable. In reality, it's the very evidence of their vulnerability. The cracks they try to hide are the ones you have cataloged quietly and meticulously. And then there's the injustice, the cold, bitter reality that accompanies the presence of such deceit. You've been overlooked, underestimated, even ridiculed. People who should have supported you turned their gaze elsewhere. Friends, colleagues, acquaintances, some couldn't tolerate your integrity because it reflected their own compromises, their weaknesses, their unwillingness to confront truth. Others envied your clarity, your resilience, your ability to navigate life with dignity, and instead of learning, they attacked or ignored you. In every environment, there are those who thrive on deception, who climb by tearing others down, and yet you've endured. You've seen their games unfold while maintaining your own center, untouched by the chaos around you. This is where your strength as a chosen one shines. You're not just surviving, you're perceiving, understanding, and rising above the manipulation. Your insight allows you to navigate with precision, to know who is a genuine ally and who is a deceiver without ever needing to announce it. You recognize the false narratives before they are spoken, the hidden agendas before they are executed. While others stumble in confusion, you stand vigilant, aware, and poised. The very act of observing has made you stronger than those trying to orchestrate control. Take a moment to internalize this. Your awareness isn't passive, it's active power. You've been cultivating discernment, patience, and integrity while the world around you oscillates between chaos and pretense. This is not a solitary victory either. It's shared with every chosen one who has walked a similar path. You are part of a collective consciousness of those who see beyond appearances, who understand that the loudest claims of authority often mask the deepest insecurities, and who know that survival and wisdom grow from observing reality with clarity. The unfairness you've faced, being underestimated, dismissed, or betrayed, is not a reflection of your value. It's a reflection of theirs. Those who rely on deceit are bound by it. They are trapped in a cycle of lies, illusions, and envy. Your clarity, in contrast, sets you apart. It allows you to respond with intention rather than reaction, to cultivate influence without force, and to maintain your integrity even when everyone else compromises theirs. You've learned that true power doesn't scream, it observes, it waits, and when the time comes, it acts with quiet authority. So recognize your position. You are not alone. This experience, as isolating as it may feel, is shared across a network of chosen ones, individuals who have seen through deception, endured the injustice, and emerged more capable than those who tried to mislead them. Your vigilance is a shield, your perception a sword, and your resilience the foundation upon which your influence is built. Every lie you've witnessed, every betrayal you've endured has reinforced your value and sharpened your insight. The world may have tried to hide the truth, but you have been awake, aware, and unbroken. And that is the awakening of the observer, understanding that deceit, envy, and injustice are the stage upon which your strength is forged. You've been tested, yes, but not defeated. You've been overlooked, but not invisible. You've been underestimated, but never powerless. In this reality, your awareness is your armor. Your insight, your compass, and your integrity, the beacon that will guide you through every challenge that lies ahead. You don't need to shout. You don't need to prove anything. True power is quiet. It doesn't rely on applause, validation, or recognition. It exists in the way you remain steadfast when everything around you is collapsing, when chaos and deceit swirl in every direction, and when those who wish to control you think they have the upper hand. That is your inner authority, resilient, composed, and unwavering. Your power starts with resilience and integrity. It's the calm knowledge that your worth isn't dictated by the opinions of others or the approval of a noisy world. While they scramble for attention, bend to the whims of social validation, or manipulate narratives to cover their insecurities, you move deliberately, observing, learning, and holding your ground. Every slight, every misjudgment, every attempt to undermine you becomes data, a map of their behavior that strengthens your discernment. You're not reacting impulsively. You are calculating, steady, and deliberate. One of the most potent strategies is learning to hide in plain sight. You exist fully in your life without needing to broadcast every move, yet you are impossible to ignore. By mastering subtlety, you develop influence without confrontation. You're present, you act with purpose, and your energy signals authority, yet you remain untouchable because you don't enter the fray unnecessarily. People think they see the entire picture, but you know better. You are aware of both the visible and the hidden currents. In doing so, you cultivate a kind of power that others mistake for luck, charisma, or coincidence. Challenges are your training ground. Every betrayal, every pressure, every setback is not an obstacle but a tool for growth. The colleague who took credit for your work, the friend who whispered false narratives, the competitor who tried to undermine your reputation. They all present opportunities for refinement. Each time you navigate these trials without compromising your integrity, you reinforce your inner authority. Every failure avoided, every trap seen before it is sprung, strengthens your resilience. You've learned that discomfort and adversity are not punishments. They are calibrations designed to expand your capacity and sharpen your discernment. Observing the liar is another critical skill. When someone fears exposure, they reveal themselves in ways they cannot control. Their panic, their overreactions, their subtle inconsistencies, they all speak louder than words. You don't need to confront them directly. Their behavior is your proof. You've become the patient witness, the silent judge, allowing truth to reveal itself without theatrics. This is not passive. It is strategic mastery, a way to maintain control without ever losing composure. Think about your life now. You may be navigating corporate politics, complex family dynamics, or intricate social networks. Perhaps you're managing a career where credit is scarce, relationships where loyalty is tested, or communities where status is manipulated. Every environment is a training ground for your inner power. The difference is you don't merely survive, you observe, analyze, and refine yourself in the process. By maintaining awareness and staying aligned with your values, you turn even subtle challenges into opportunities for growth. Your consistency and quiet confidence signal authority in ways that loud displays never could. People notice when you act without needing permission, when you maintain your integrity under pressure, when you resist the temptation to play by the rules of manipulation. That steadiness inspires respect, generates influence, and creates a magnetic presence that cannot be engineered or bought. Others may bend, scramble, or strategize, but you remain unshaken because your power is rooted in what they cannot take away: your self-mastery. This is the essence of winning silently. While the world obsesses over drama, status, or temporary advantage, you hold dominion over your inner world. Your choices, your patience, your deliberate action. These are the true markers of authority. You understand that real control is not about forcing outcomes. It's about aligning your energy, observing carefully, and allowing events to unfold with precision. Those who attempt to manipulate, deceive, or control you only expose themselves further, revealing the gaps in their own integrity. By mastering this inner power, you cultivate not only personal resilience but also influence that endures. You don't need to prove yourself or fight every battle. Instead, you navigate with intelligence, patience, and awareness, ensuring that when action is required, it is decisive and effective. You are not at the mercy of circumstance or the whims of others. You are in command of your response, your focus, and your energy. In a world where most scramble for noise and validation, your quiet mastery is louder than any shout. Every quiet choice you make, every decision kept to yourself, every moment you stand firm without announcing it is building a power they will never see coming. You don't need to argue. You don't need to confront. The truth, like a patient predator, has a way of revealing itself without fanfare. The liars, the envious, the naysayers, they expose themselves with every overreaction, every slip, every miscalculated attempt to manipulate. You simply live aligned with integrity, and in doing so, the veil of their deception begins to unravel on its own. This is the essence of silent counteraction. You don't fight on their battlefield. You don't need to shout to prove your point. Instead, you remain consistent, steady, and vigilant. Your life becomes the standard against which others measure themselves. Their games, their lies, their attempts to diminish you become irrelevant because your alignment with truth, patience, and quiet mastery cannot be overshadowed. Every time they try to provoke a reaction, nothing changes. You have already anticipated it, and your calm endurance is its own rebuttal. There is immense satisfaction in watching the truth unfold naturally. The manipulator who once controlled conversations, spread rumors, or sowed doubt now inadvertently exposes their own fragility. The envious colleague who tried to overshadow your achievements ends up revealing the insecurity behind their bravado. The skeptic who dismissed your efforts can't deny the clarity and consistency of your actions. When these patterns reveal themselves, you are not participating in their spectacle, you are the anchor. You remain unshaken, and their illusions collapse without your direct intervention. Your influence in this way is sustainable and far-reaching. People look to you and recognize a standard of strength, integrity, and resilience that cannot be faked. They compare themselves not to your words, not to your claims, but to your actions, your consistency, and your ability to remain unbroken. Your life becomes a silent curriculum for those who observe carefully. Every decision you make, every boundary you uphold, every challenge you navigate with composure sets a benchmark for authenticity and leadership. Without raising your voice, without performing, you are shaping the perception of everyone who encounters your energy. This is the natural power of the chosen one's community. You are not alone in this journey. Those who see through deception, endure trials, and uphold integrity share this path with you. By maintaining awareness and holding firm to your values, you reinforce a collective standard of empowerment. Experiences that once felt isolating, being misunderstood, underestimated, or dismissed become shared touchstones. You are part of a network of individuals who recognize that influence is not created through noise or domination, but through quiet mastery, consistency, and ethical courage. And consider this influence built this way cannot be stolen, manipulated, or undermined. Because it is rooted in reality, in alignment, and in personal authority, it persists regardless of external chaos. Your peers, your colleagues, your community, whether they acknowledge it or not, feel the shift. They measure their actions, their choices, their authenticity against your unspoken standard. And without you ever needing to explain, the contrast becomes obvious. This is empowerment at its purest, shaping the world silently yet undeniably by simply being who you are. There is also a subtle, almost poetic satisfaction in this approach. The liars, the manipulators, and the envious cannot touch what they cannot control. Their efforts to misrepresent or dominate your reality only accelerate the exposure of their own weaknesses. Meanwhile, you rise not through confrontation but through consistency, patience, and alignment with truth. Each step, each decision, each quiet act of integrity becomes a testament to your resilience and a beacon for those who are watching. Ultimately, silent counteraction and lasting influence are inseparable. You do not need to fight to prove or to dominate. By living authentically, consistently, and strategically, you become a reference point, a standard of excellence, and a quiet force that shapes perception and behavior long after any words have faded. Your impact spreads effortlessly like ripples across a still pond, and those who encounter it cannot ignore it. They may envy it. They may fear it, but they will always recognize it. In the end, this is the true victory: you influence without aggression, teach without speaking, and inspire without seeking recognition. Your power is quiet, profound, and enduring, a power that the world cannot take away, and one that positions you at the heart of the chosen one's legacy. Finally, it's clear. The truth doesn't need to shout, and liars will reveal themselves without you lifting a finger. You don't need to fight, you only need to stand firm. That quiet stance, grounded in integrity and self-awareness, is more powerful than any argument, any confrontation, or any performance. Every false narrative, every manipulation, and every attempt to undermine you eventually collapses under its own weight. Your resilience has been the silent witness, the steady force observing and enduring while chaos swirled around you. The value you've cultivated is profound. Inner strength, resilience, and self-mastery are not abstract concepts. They are the tools that allow you to survive, thrive, and transform every challenge into opportunity. Every betrayal you endured, every pressure you faced, every setback that might have broken someone else became for you a lesson, a calibration, a reinforcement of your capacity. These trials are not failures, they are proofs of your power. They are markers along the path that distinguish the fleeting from the lasting, the superficial from the authentic. Remember this: you don't need validation from anyone else. Your worth is inherent, and your authority comes from how you navigate the world, not from applause, approval, or recognition. Observing, staying consistent, and holding firm in your values are strategies of strength, not signs of weakness. Every moment you maintained composure while others faltered, every time you rose above gossip, envy, and false narratives, you were demonstrating mastery over your own life. That is the quiet power that commands respect without demanding it, influence without enforcing it, and presence without performance. There's a lesson here for everyone watching. Every challenge, every betrayal, every pressure point you faced was an opportunity to see your true power. When you choose integrity over expedience, awareness over reaction, and patience over impulsivity, you convert hardship into proof of your own authority. Your life becomes the standard others unconsciously measure themselves against. The contrast between their actions and your steadfastness is evident even if unspoken, and that contrast is an enduring mark of influence. So let this be a call to embrace your inner strength fully. Let every moment of quiet observation, every decision to act with integrity, and every instance of rising above deception be a reminder of the resilience and empowerment that define you as a chosen one. Your story is not about being louder than the chaos, it's about being steadier than the storm. It's about allowing truth to surface while you maintain composure. It's about embodying the values you want to see, influencing others without fighting, and letting your quiet mastery speak volumes. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to acknowledge it and then take action, like share, comment with your experiences, and subscribe to Chosen and Rising. By doing so, you help amplify the message of empowerment, self-mastery, and quiet authority to a community that values truth over noise, integrity over illusion, and resilience over appearances. As we close this chapter together, carry this with you. You are stronger than the lies, wiser than the distractions, and more powerful than anyone who ever tried to undermine you. Stand tall in your clarity, walk in your integrity, and continue to cultivate the quiet authority that makes you unshakable. The world may test you, the critics may speak, and the chaos may roar, but your mastery over yourself will always be your most enduring victory. This is your power. This is your rise.